two things happening in terms of Medicare, or I should say medicine in this country. One is that the Trump administration continues its assault on the Affordable Care Act. Now, let me back up for a minute. Lindsey Graham seems convinced that his plan is going to pass. He's got 18 days to get this passed. I don't think it's going to happen. But I would have to wait and see. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but hopefully no. You know, Mitch McConnell today was out crowing in the New York Times that the debt ceiling deal is not as good as people make. And his big argument was, you know, with mechanisms that we have to extend the country's borrowing power, the debt ceiling may not come up in 3 months. It may not come up for 6 months, which means he's going to be able to decouple the debt ceiling from the budget votes. And it's going to lessen Democrats' leverage. And when that guy starts squawking about stuff, it always makes me nervous. Not necessarily about what he squawks about, but just like he can't help himself. He preens so much that the only thing he could do is like pretend that he's squawking about one thing when in fact he's squawking about something else. Nevertheless, I don't know what's going to happen with that Graham legislation. But in the meantime, Donald Trump, his administration, seems to be hell-bent on, and this is even as in the Senate, the HELP Committee, Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, are holding hearings to find out what insurance companies are requesting to strengthen Obamacare exchanges. We are 2 weeks out at this moment from insurance companies finalizing their decisions about whether or not they're going to sell in any specific exchange. And then in November, open enrollment will begin. It lasts for only 6 weeks now. I believe it's been shortened by the Trump administration. Insurers basically just want, I guess, like 2 or 3 major things. One, stop threatening to cut off the subsidies because we can't plan. The only thing that insurance companies are is basically just a bunch of individuals sitting in a room trying to work out the statistical likelihood that they'll have to pay out on claims. And balancing that against how much money is going to be coming in. That's what insurance is. And if they don't know how much money will be coming in, because they don't know if the subsidies are going to be there, then they can't function. They want an extension of a reinsurance program that basically backs up the insurance companies. These are basically the risk corridors, because again, this is so new, they don't have the ability to calculate those actuarial tables in a way that they feel confident about. And they want the individual mandate to be continue to be enforced so that the whole system works. That's it. While they are about to testify in front of a Republican-chaired committee in the Senate, the Trump administration, which said that it was going to cut it by 41%, the Navigator program. The Navigator program is basically a way, basically the help desk of Obamacare exchanges. That's the best way to look at it. They were community groups that get funding, pre-existing community groups that got funding. They would hire people on, and they would do outreach to people living between 133% and 400% of poverty in states that had expanded Medicaid from 100%, and I guess maybe even the states that didn't have expanded Medicaid, to help them navigate the exchanges. Over time, they become less and less important because people get it, but you still need this type of assistance. Trump administration said it's going to cut that budget by 40%. But here's the thing. They haven't paid out any of it. Not only have they not cut the budget yet, the $63 million that are supposed to go out to the program has lapsed. They're just simply not sending the checks or responding to letters about grants. So all of these organizations are wondering if they have any type of funding flow, and they're starting to cut people, lay people off with the hopes that when we get the funding, because they all assume eventually they have to get the funding. I don't know why they even assume that. They're hoping they're going to be able to hire these people back, but they're not going to be able to. I mean, this is part of the wholesale destruction of our governmental apparatus. But you're 50 days out from the open enrollment period, and if you don't have people helping people enroll, you're going to shrink these roles in Obamacare, and you're going to exacerbate the problem that insurers have. They're going to leave, and thus you're going to try and push and promote this death cycle, basically, the death spiral, as they call it. Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos